literally bonus content. It's literally bonus content. Like 4 people are gonna watch, Amanda.
Well, welcome to Wow True, the podcast of our wildest
Um,
dreams.
we talk about
We're not
horrible
looking at a
housing
script.
situations. Yeah, we talk about horrible housing situations, entrepreneurs, and more optimized ways of living. Hi, I'm your horrified individual, Isabel.
As I prefer to think of it, Dear John and Hank. Yeah, that was our intro, but
You didn't even say your
so
name. Damn.
I mean, you know my story, not my name.
All right, let's watch this thing again. Let's be
Okay.
horrified again.
We're doing this strange mini video episode bonus instead of a real episode because we just wanted to talk about this TikTok so badly.
We just like it. Okay, so like for context, I think this TikTok has actually been deleted, so it only
Oh yeah.
exists in the form of nebulous copies, like that people have reposted on other social medias. And you've probably seen it, but let's roll the clip.
Yeah, shout out to Quest Bedhead for letting us, unbeknownst to them, use their Tumblr.
Oh, I should probably tell
Hey,
Morgan that we're
so
doing
I
that.
just moved into
I'm like
a
friends with Morgan.
mansion in New York City that I'm splitting rent on with 15 other entrepreneurs that I met online.
What's
and
an
I'm not sure
entrepreneur?
how.
Can we start with that? Can we
Also,
start
I
with the
just
fact
want to
that he's
say, what is this pleasurized shirt?
I kind of that's kind of good. That's funny.
Like, is that supposed to be like a condom thing?
Well, hold on. I will Google this while we play it.
Okay, but
You're gonna
yeah,
fuck up.
I want to know more about like what are they all working on? Like, what are all of their entrepreneurial projects?
I mean,
Well,
it's a
this video
t-shirt
will
line.
do, but I just kind of wanted to show you like a little window into our crazy lifestyle. So here is the house. You can't quite see the penthouse, but it's a 4-story brownstone.
It's a 4-story brownstone.
And they live like this.
Is the first floor here, and co-working space over there.
Okay, like I feel like
I
floor
think
one
what
just looks like a frat house. Floor
Yeah.
one just looks like a frat house. And like that's fine. I was like, that's fine. It's not
Okay,
great.
so the bedroom we're coming up on here. When you're first watching this video for the first time, this seems like the worst bedroom, but by the end of it, I think this one is actually, if I had to pick where to live in this house, I would choose bedroom number one.
I think that's a super
perhaps is the
reasonable
most
decision
funny
that you're
is
making.
that this closet here has been converted into a room for show.
They even have fairy lights.
It's
We only really did that because
very
we
Harry Potter vibes.
don't have that many bedrooms for all 16 of us. There's Riley.
That's foreshadowing. That's foreshadowing.
This is where a couple sleeps, and Donna sleeps here. So 3 people in this
Can
room.
we
Having
can we talk about the thruple? Can we talk about the thruple situations in this house?
Yeah, there are multiple situations in which he'll be like, a couple sleeps there, and then there's Nick.
And it's like, Nick, why did you do this?
See,
You chose that.
I was talking to a friend about this video last night, like in preparation, and my friend was like, how does anybody have sex in this house? But I think it's a valid question.
You know, no, I was also thinking about this, and I was also thinking about this because I was also talking to a friend about this for preparation. This is all my friends have been talking about. And like, why don't they just create like a bunk bed situation and create a sex room? And I'm like, that's a different sort of weird.
It's one of
But I
those
think it
things
makes
where
more
it's like,
sense.
it makes sense in theory, but like, oh man, the sex room would be so gross.
I mean, I guess like you would have to have. I was gonna suggest wait, roll the kitchen stuff, and then I have a suggestion.
some issues with kitchen cleanliness. It doesn't look horrible right now, but we got a security camera. This is another.
All right, so simply place the security camera in the sex room.
Isabel, no!
Keep going.
I think it's good that we're doing this on video so you can just see that I am completely just defeated. But
And we're only at 7 beds too.
okay, we'll keep going.
Another room. A couple.
Oh, this is my
over
favorite
here,
room.
and Nick is over there.
A couple's over a couple's over here and Nick is over there.
Just he's just here.
Which again, I think this begs the question, how do they have sex in this house?
I don't think anyone in this house is having sex. Also, something I was wondering about is that are all the couples like together, or are they just sharing a bed?
I
'Cause, like,
assumed that
I
they
started
were
to have
like
that.
dating.
That's what I assumed, and then I started thinking about how everyone in this house lives, and I'm like, oh, we can't assume that. Food for
Okay.
thought.
I'm just gonna let that simmer.
So another triple. Camilla lives here. Shreya sleeps. Riley
Can we pause?
sleeps in the.
Can we talk about how Camilla lives there and we don't get to see her room, and she will not let you in? I want to know what's going on.
I think Camilla is just living the best out of everybody, and that's why we don't get to see their room.
It's a low bar. It's a low bar.
I don't know, maybe Camilla has another like Harry Potter situation, like bed number 1, which is the bed I would live in.
This like 4-foot space.
This camera work is great.
The ladder.
His room is.
I also want to point out that we see that there's toilet paper here.
Mhm.
This implies that there is not regular toilet paper in their bathroom, that they have to have their own toilet paper. And Isabel, do you know why I know what it means when you hoard toilet paper in your bedroom?
Did you have to do that at Pylam?
Yes, I had to do this in the house that I lived in college. And I don't know if this is a good time to segue real quick to, I have some photos prepared.
Show us the photos.
So, on one hand, this was a cool place because it was like a punk house where we had really cool shows. So I pulled up this article from 2016. This is the house. This is the outside of it. This was a big music festival. This is the basement. And, you know, this is the living room. This is the hallway. It looks all hunky-dory, but I also pulled out a picture of, these were the washing machines that I used in my life. Are you ready to see it? I mean, you've seen it in real life, but are you ready to see it?
I'm ready to see it in fiction as well as in real life. Yep.
This is how I lived for 3 years of my life.
I was, honestly, in retrospect, I can't believe you lived there for 3 years.
I can't either. Every year I was like about to move out and then something would happen and I would get stuck. Like I was cursed.
Cursed to live in a punk house, like a punk house ghost.
Yeah, but we couldn't like keep toilet paper in the bathroom because it would just get stolen or whatever. So you had to like have your own roll in your room for emergencies.
That is extremely degenerate. Also, kind of what I'd expect from Pylam. That's that tracks. I hate to say it tracks, but it does track.
And in our house, 18 people lived there, but like there were 18 bedrooms. So like occasionally people would have like 2 people in a room, but like that's not that weird. What's weird is when you have like a closed off alcove and then 3 people live in there, including a couple, and then Riley.
Mike, he's just here.
Also, these laundry machines took quarters.
That
you have to put
unfair.
quarters in them.
Damn. I feel like if I had lived there, I would have just like snuck into the dorms.
Oh, I did that.
Yeah. Good. Yeah, as you should.
I would like put my laundry in a suitcase and pretend that I was like coming back from like vacation and be like, oh yes, I am back in my home Harrison College house.
Yeah, as you should, to get that free laundry.
Yeah. So
anyway,
this is just to say that I am coming at this video from a very nuanced perspective
of having lived similar experiences.
Yes, except ours was like punk and theirs was like, we're entrepreneurs.
But okay, I'm sorry. They say they're entrepreneurs, but can they not fucking entrepreneurs themselves a better solution than the one they have right now?
Let's get to that. Let's keep looking at this bed.
Is between the closet and the ceiling here. So wonderful little spot that we entrepreneured. This
a space that we entrepreneured.
A wonderful little spot, if you will.
This is the Emma and Georgie room. Extra beds. Jackie's up here. This is Grind Central USA.
Grind Central USA.
And then here's our little movie theater turned into a triple. I live there. Justin lives here. Jackie lives in this little enclave.
You know, Jackie has a pretty good setup too.
It's not good in terms of real life. It's good in terms of this house.
Yes.
Yeah.
And here is the outdoor area. So we get a nice little spot to view the city, play cards outside. Yeah, it's pretty beautiful out here. So let me know if you want to see any more of these. I kind of want to start documenting this experience in a more...
He was holding toilet paper in his hand just now. Did you see that?
Yeah.
exciting way than this video. So thanks.
So
Okay.
I have like a lot of questions about this, but I feel like the first time I watched this, I wondered if it was satire. But then like it seems way too permanent a setup to be a bit.
See, I also wondered this because I looked at this person's TikTok. I can pull it up here. I'm prepared. And some of his stuff is satire.
This is day 346 of only drinking Fanta.
Like, that's satire.
Yeah, that's a bit. But also like setting up a whole house for a bit doesn't seem like something a person would do.
Mm-hmm. And then there's times when in his videos, like, you can see like the house.
So like I feel like the thing that offends me the most about this house is how unoptimized it is.
Yes. And if we
We're
go
like-
back here, 16 entrepreneurs and not one of them has managed to come up with a system to keep the kitchen clean, the shared living space is functional, and the beds organized in such a way that one person isn't crammed into a broom closet and another doesn't have to risk a broken limb climbing a hastily propped stepladder every night.
Yep.
Sure, he's well versed in leftist theory, but does he do the dishes? And then this person tried to create the floor plan.
Yeah.
So another thing
Can
is
you zoom
that,
into- can you zoom into it? Because it's,
oh yes.
yeah. I remember I sent this to you yesterday and like they seem pretty accurate to the actual specifications. Like they did a good job.
I love the quotes here.
Co-working space.
A couple, Donna.
Poor fucking Donna.
Also, I want to talk a little bit more about the security camera.
Okay. Do you think the security camera is dystopian or not?
I want to say it's dystopian. I want to say that this is an extension of the surveillance state and that this is fucked up and that, like, this isn't a way to live. You can't live in a place without trust.
On the other hand, if you're
Tragedy
moving
of the
in with-
commons.
it's like what, 16 people? 16 people from the internet.
I do want to say, I wish that there was a security camera in the kitchen of my 18-bedroom pump house.
I feel like at some point it's the amount of people who are sharing a space grows large enough where nobody feels responsible. And in that situation, I get the security camera. On the other hand, I think you can avoid this by not living in a house with 15 strangers from the internet. I want a whole reality TV series about these people.
That would
I
be,
want to-
we should write fan fiction.
We should write fan fiction. I just want to I want someone to film this like terrace house and I want us to be the hosts. Do you know what I mean? Like I want to like watch them do things and then cut away to us where we're like, yeah, they're living like this, huh? They sure are living like this.
It's like The Circle.
It is like The Circle, except they're all there together.
Speaking of The Circle, I have a behind the scenes story for our behind the scenes episode, which is that I'm a big fan of The Circle, and a friend of a friend is best friends with Jack, the guy who played Emily on The Circle in season 2. And I tried to get him on the podcast, and at first he was like, oh, tell me like what stats you have. And I was just like, all right, this isn't going to work. And then I followed up and I said, just circling back. And he never responded. And I totally take blame for this. I think I blew it.
Yeah, you know, that pun was just too bad. And he was like, I cannot be associated with these people.
Yeah.
Low-key Jack did seem like an asshole from the circle. I'm just going to put that out there. I'm sure he's fine in real life, but the cutting of him on the circle was not great.
Yeah, I mean, they literally introduced him by him being like, I want to be the best villain the circle has ever seen.
Yeah, so like, I get it. But I'm also kind of like, damn, you do seem like kind of a dick.
Yeah.
Jack, if you're listening to this, I apologize.
If you're listening to this, come on the podcast and defend your honor.
Yeah, Jack, or are you a coward? Maybe we should make Jack part of the mythology too. And nobody who doesn't listen to this episode will understand.
You know, Craig from Craigslist and Jack from the circle.
I feel like we're creating parasocial relationships with like fictional entities at this point. Because it's not even like the actual them. It's just kind of like the idea of them and what they represent in culture.
I feel like I'm in a parasocial relationship with everyone in this TikTok.
I feel like I need to know more about these people. And I really want to know about how this all came together. Because, so here's the interesting thing about this is that it takes a lot of coordination to move into a place with 16 people from the internet. Do you know what I mean? Where it's like,
yes,
the buy-in of every single person there who's like, yeah, this is fine. This is good. This is a choice I'm making. Because there's a lot of factors that go into, okay, first of all, move in with a stranger from the internet. 2, got to be an entrepreneur. 3, okay with living like this.
So another thing that we haven't talked about yet is that somebody on Twitter found like the address of this house and how much it goes for. Mm-hmm. It is, the rent for the entire house is $18,000 a month.
Which means that they're each paying more than $1,000 for, Mike is paying more than $1,000 to live with a couple.
Which like, just live in like Queens or something and like have an actual apartment. Like Manhattan's not that cool, but mm-hmm. Speaking of the mythology of who this is,
mm-hmm.
So let's go back to Willie Hops on TikTok.
Okay.
Also, I think we just need to take a minute to look at his bio. If you don't understand Gind Central USA, you lack true entrepreneurial grit.
God.
So, okay. I went deep on this. I'm sorry. I'm trying to find, there's like a specific, where is it? I swear I'm onto something. There's a specific TikTok. Look at this breakdancing tutorial.
That's his entrepreneurship spirit right there.
Exactly. I think, is this it? No. Well,
watching you try to scroll through a man's TikTok is surely truly good bonus content.
There's a TikTok where he has in his mouth a Stanford ID. He clarifies he did not go to Stanford. He worked there for like 2 months. Mm-hmm. And it says that his name is William W. Hopper or something of that nature.
Okay.
And so...
Did you Google him?
Also...
Oh my God. Okay.
I wonder if they're related.
Damn,
William Warner Hoppin is the 24th governor of Rhode Island from 1854 to 1857.
Wow, a history lesson right here.
I wonder if this is the guy.
I like to imagine that they're related.
Yeah. They're
like, I'm going to write that into my fan fiction.
Yeah. Okay. So, okay, let's go back to Tumblr.
Yeah, let's look at floors 3 and 4 of this. Can we talk about floor 4? Floor 4 is like,
Extra bed, room for one more.
Room for one more. God. So do you think, one of the questions I had about this logistically is, do you think everybody's paying the same rent?
That's a great question, because you would think that like people that are a couple would not be paying the same rent, but at the same time, it's like, imagine paying even more than 18 divided by 16.
Right. But also I feel like if you're living on top of the closet, you should pay less.
Yeah,
That
like
feels
is the
fair.
rent staggered?
I almost want to say that it's got to be, otherwise there would be so much weird resentment in this house, I think.
But how
But
do you
like,
know there's not weird resentment in the
you know,
house?
they do have a camera in the kitchen. And they all hoard their own toilet paper.
Honestly, sounds relatable to me.
God. All right, what advice would you give them from your experience living in an 18-person house?
Just thinking about a time when we had a group of us called ourselves the Vigilante Squad, and
Okay.
there was a situation where stuff was getting stolen from someone's room,
Mm-hmm.
and a bunch of people were sitting around a table smoking. I was not partaking because I am a upstanding young woman.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just a very like smoky ambiance, and then people started theorizing about who the thief was.
Mm-hmm.
And then we called ourselves the Vigilante Squad, and whenever there was drama we would like meet up and have our Vigilante Squad meetings to figure out who the culprit was.
Are you saying that they need this or they shouldn't do that?
I mean, we didn't solve anything, but it was fun.
Okay.
I think it's a way to diffuse the tension. What
how
other advice? I was definitely the person in the group chat who would be like, hey, how come somebody left a pizza box just like on the couch? Why didn't you just put it in the garbage? And that made people resent me. So you got to play your cards right. Like, if you're going to be the mom of the house who's like, why the fuck didn't you clean up your pizza? You got to like choose your battles.
I think that's probably advice for also just like being a mom.
Yeah, it's like you have to play your cards right. You have to be really strategic about like how far you're going to go.
I feel like my only opinion here is that I think they could optimize a lot better. Like, I hate to say it, but I think my bunk beds and fuck zone idea is not the worst. I think it would be better than living like this.
So your fuck zone idea.
Sure. They don't have to have the fuck zone. I'm just saying it's an option.
So when we say that this was an 18-bedroom house, in the one that I lived in, there was technically a 19th room.
Oh God, did you guys have a fuck zone?
No, it was the TV room.
Mm-hmm.
And there was just like a bunch of TVs that were all connected. So like we would watch Sex in the City and it would be on like all the different TVs.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's
really
what you
good.
watch in a punk house. You watch Sex in the City season 4, which we strangely had on DVD.
As one does, understandable.
But people who didn't live in the house would often use the privacy of the TV room for nefarious purposes. There were times when people would find used condoms in the TV room.
I'm gonna go ahead and say that that was a fuck zone.
I don't like it.
But I'm right.
I don't like it.
Okay, we can move on.
But I mean, clearly things didn't work out in that house. So, okay. So somebody did apparently make it sleep 18 entrepreneurs in Sims. But also, let's look at this meme.
It's good.
The rent's not cheap.
The rent's not cheap. Imagine paying like $2,000. Like, if this is a staggered rent scenario, imagine paying like $2,000 for this. To like at that point, you could get like an incredibly shitty studio.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's just,
well, it's New York. Maybe you couldn't get you could get like a studio in like not Manhattan.
It's like, if you really want to be part of this like community, you can be someone who like doesn't live in their house but is friends with them and hangs out with them.
I don't want to be in their community.
Neither do I, but I'm just saying in theory.
I know, but like, okay, what do you think they're doing
right now?
Just like, I mean, sure, right now, but like as entrepreneurs, what do you think they're all doing?
I don't know. I mean, I write about like tech now, so I'm an expert on entrepreneurs, but oh man, speaking of which, I got a press release yesterday for a wellness company funded by Gwyneth Paltrow.
Jesus Christ.
And I'm just like,
doesn't she already have one of those?
She has one of them that is constantly getting shit for like being based on pseudoscience.
Yeah, as it should.
Yeah. I think that their company is like tech solutions that nobody needs.
Isn't that all Silicon Valley companies, honestly?
It's like smart refrigerators. Why do you need a smart refrigerator?
To have a nice little conversation while you're getting your milk. I don't know.
Like there's refrigerators where there's a camera inside of it. So if you're at the grocery store and you're like, oh no, do I have eggs? You can check to see if you have eggs.
Okay, but this loops back because I think this house actually needs that refrigerator with a camera in it.
But why?
Because they already have a camera in the kitchen. It's clear that nothing is going right in this scenario and that they need to be kept accountable.
Are they just gonna like time the mess by seeing whose hand like reaches in?
You know, they're gonna get really good at identifying each other's hands.
All right. Well, so final thoughts on our friend Willie Hops.
Okay.
I hope they're okay. I want to see an update of this in a year.
I want to see where he's living in a year.
I mean, I think it's going to be like me, where like I lived in squalor for 3 years and now I live alone. Like I cringe every month when I'm like, damn, if I had roommates, I would be saving so much money, but I just can't do it anymore. I'm ruined for the rest of my life. I just can't do it.
I feel that. So right now I'm looking for housing in New York, which is why this really resonated with me. This video really, sparked. And one of my friends was like, so some of my friends have like not a scenario like this because they're sane, but it's like a 4-bedroom place in like Queens or something where people kind of cycle in and out. And they were like, and they're trying to get like people for this fall. And my friend was like, you should move in with us. And I'm like, I don't know if I can do that, bro.
I don't know. I mean, kind of a 4-bedroom is better than this. Although this house is technically like a 3-bedroom.
Yeah, this house is. I think you could fit more, but I think it's like the person who said they fit 18 entrepreneurs in there is right. I think you could like really optimize the amount of entrepreneurs you fit.
They do have a really beautiful patio.
They do. It's a nice patio. They have a nice view.
They play cards there. I like how that's specifically what they said. We come up here and play cards.
They play cards and they talk about entrepreneurship, right? Like that's, rise and grind, right?
Rise and grind. All right. We got to wrap this up, but Godspeed.
Good luck, Willie Hops.
Good luck, Willie Hops.
Do you think he'll do an update? I hope he does an update.
Well, he deleted so I don't know if he'll do an update.
I really, see the lure of clout, the lure of getting some clout on the internet might make him do an update.
Okay, but also, after all this, he only has 5,000 followers.
And I think that's where we cut it. Thanks for listening.